Well, hello and welcome to another RiderCamTV video, and today we have got a brand new BMW R1300 RS done in the white, blue and red colour scheme, which I think looks absolutely fab. And they haven't really lost the styling on the front. They've kind of just changed the styling so you know it's an RS, but I do think some of these bikes are starting to turn into or morph into one. I mean, it looks like, if you were to squint, it looks like the RR. If you were to squint, it might look like the XR. And I've seen some adverts on Facebook and stuff from BMW, and they've been talking about the RS. But the picture, I've thought, that's an XR, until you look at it and realise it is an RS. So it's got the new 1300 shift cam engine with this beautiful finish. It's got the moulded frame, or the cast frame, double Aquapovic on the back, BMW brakes, which I think might be Brembo. Tiny little seat. This one hasn't got any luggage or anything on it, but I've had it for 3 or 4 days actually, and I'll let you know how we get on. Or I'll let you know how I've got on as we ride along. So, starting the bike. Now, first thing I don't like is the sat-nav being there. I like it a little bit higher because then you have to look down all the time. But you start it with the start button because they've lost the button in the middle. So the start button's there, which means that there isn't space for another button there. Same switch gear as a normal BMW with the SOS. It's got the hamburger button, so you can assign different things to the up and down. It's got cruise control, all of that sort of stuff. Not adaptive cruise control though. So let's see how we get on. And I shall tell you a little bit about how I have got on with this bike as we ride down to BMW, because we're going down there for quite a special reason, which you'll find out in a later video. So when I got on this bike, so it's Saturday now, and I have had the bike since Tuesday evening. So I've had a chance to get out and ride on it for quite a bit. And it's a nice bike. So I don't want to say anything bad about it, but it's just that after having it for a couple of days, or for a few days, it's just not my sort of bike. But the boxer engine is sublime. The quick shifter is awesome. I mean, it's like properly awesome. See, let me out as well. That's nice of him. Yeah, the quick shifter is sublime. The engine does make that whiny noise, but I quite like that whiny noise. It's a different noise. It's a different sound of the engine. I quite like it. The things that I like about it first, let's talk about those. It's really nimble. It's really agile, as you would imagine, because it's quite a light bike. We'll put all the details up on the screen, but it's quite a light bike. I think this is quite a capable bike to do an awful lot of stuff. It's quite a comfortable bike to sit on, although on this bike, in comparison to the RTs, GSAs, all that sort of stuff, and I think even the previous RS, you do sit forward ever so slightly, which still doesn't put any pressure on your wrist, but you are forward ever so slightly, which I don't dislike. I haven't had any achy back or any achy parts. The seat is really comfortable. My legs aren't at 90 degrees, or my knees aren't at 90-degree bends hanging down the bike as you would imagine on the RT or an adventure bike. It's more like I'm sat on the RT with my knees, to be honest, tucked back a little bit. So generally it's a comfortable position. The handlebars are a nice width apart. They're not too close, they're not too far away, so they're really quite a nice width apart. And I guess this handlebar situation is very reminiscent of the RT, really. It's the same sort of style as the RT, so to add extra stuff, presumably you can get extensions to fit into here to put sat navs and things on. You've got a lovely TFT, which is a standard TFT across the range. It does what it says on the tin. It shows things in a different way than a GS or a GSA or an RT does. But in essence, it's their tried and tested version of their info display, if you like. So all in all, it's a very, very comfortable bike. The torque on it is lovely. Low down, the torque is really, really nice. You know that you've got some power in there, and you know that you've got some really, really good torque. And it would go anywhere. You've got the really good indicators front and back, not the ones that only show parts of stuff that concern lots of people. You've got, albeit a USB power slot up the front, and that is it. It's quite basic up the front. It's quite a basic dashboard. It's quite a basic dashboard. Yes, you've got quite a basic dashboard up the front. The plastic's there. It's covering the surrounds. You can see right down. I quite like the fact that you can see right down to the road, to be honest. It's quite a nice thing to be able to see. I'm going to have to pull over because suddenly my hip has decided to want to pull out. And that's one thing that I found on this bike. Now, it might be me that's just getting old, but my hip, every now and then on one of these bikes, and on my feet for some reason, just decided, well, actually, you don't want to sit there anymore. You just want to feel like you're going to pop out. So I have had that a few times, especially on this bike. Just wait for a break in the traffic. Get the cough out of the way. So, engine noise doesn't make any sort of noise that's abnormal, to be honest. It's quite a nice place to be. The visibility is really, really good because there's nothing in front of you to get in the way, absolutely nothing. So being able to look all around is so easy because there's nothing inhibiting that view at all. But the one thing that I just don't understand on this bike is these mirrors. Now, to me, it makes you feel like you're on a more sporty bike rather than a touring bike. And I know it's a sports tourer, but for me, the wing mirrors sitting off here is quite an old looking thing, and that might just be me, and it's all down to preference. So my view is my view, isn't it? Other people will disagree, and there will be some people that agree with it. But the mirrors are in such a place that all I can see both of my arms, and no matter what I do over the last 3 days, no matter how I adjust them, I cannot see behind me in a way that makes me confident that I know what's going on behind me. I can only see my arm, and I've got to move my arm out the way. Now, you could argue that that's quite good because it means that you've got to be more aware and you've got to move yourself. So there is that argument, but the big thing for me is I want to be able to look in the mirror and see everything that's behind me. Now, I think that I've got my right-hand mirror and the left kind of in an optimal position now, but it's taken so long to try and work that out. And it's been really frustrating because especially if you're riding at night or even in the day, to be honest. I was riding this morning thinking about the things that I wanted to talk about, and there was a Range Rover, a big white Range Rover. I was doing 20 in a 20-mile-an-hour limit, and he was so close to me I could not see him even when I moved, and it wasn't until I really moved that I could see and almost feel him breathing down my neck, if that makes sense. So for me, those mirrors need to be a little bit bigger. I'm not a huge chap, I'm not a tiny chap, 5'11", I think I'm about 80 kilos, something like that. So I'm not a slimmy, but I'm not a big fatty either. And I don't see, even if you are bigger or smaller, that you shouldn't be able to move the mirrors so you can actually see what's going on. So that's one of my gripes. And the other one being is that it just feels like it's a nice bike. It looks nice, But for me, it's just not the sort of bike that I would want to have as a daily bike, if that makes sense, or a bike that I would go on tour. Now, don't get me wrong, this is, I think, a very overlooked bike. The engine is lovely, but they've done something between this RS and the last version. The last version, when we rode it, I was really intent on the fact that it was a really overlooked bike. People would go for a GS, but in actual fact, it's a lot cheaper than a GS or a GSA, but it had lots of the same abilities. You felt as though you were sat riding a GS, didn't feel like you were forward, but something's changed on here, and it's just not the sort of thing that I would want, so it doesn't fit with me. But in terms of it being an RS, you could put the panniers on, you could tour all over the world, as I'm sure people are doing and will be doing with this bike, without worrying whatsoever about what's going on. But the other one thing that I wanted to talk about was the screen. Now, the screen is quite small, and it is adjustable. You can't really adjust it while you're riding because it's quite stiff, but it kind of comes up. So there are two positions that you can have it in, which is brilliant. So I thought, well, I'll try it in this position, low down, and see how I get on. Now, in this position, if you get too close to a car behind you on a day like today, after it's been raining and suddenly it's not raining, or even if it is raining, and you ride with your visor open, all you get is splattered with all the spray that's coming off their tyres. Because this seems to angle everything right into where my visor is, right into my face. So then I thought, well, I'll try it up. So I tried it in its up position, and it didn't really have any difference in effect. I can still feel that my helmet is getting a load of air, which is all right. You know, in a hot country, that's going to be really lovely, but you will get hit in the face with lots of flies. So I would have to do something with the screen at the front and perhaps look at what other versions are available, what other alternatives are available to get a bigger screen, so I felt a bit more protected. But perhaps that's me and the inner Toby in there saying, well, you're either a RT rider or a GSA rider, Toby, or something, a rider that likes to have that protection. And coming back to a bike that hasn't got any protection like that, perhaps that's just me and my head saying that rather than it being a specific issue. But we're going to get into a 60 in a minute. So, right, so we're doing 30 now in second. Now, you can get up to, in 70, sorry. You can get up to speed very, very quickly on this bike. It is no slouch. It's the same as the RT and the GS and the GSA that have all got these engines, these 1300s. They have got so much torque and so much punch. They're not going to leave you stranded. They're going to get you out of trouble. And they're going to enable you to enjoy riding your bike. No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. The engine braking is exceptional, as you would think. Just like an opposed twin, a flat twin, or whatever they call it, but the twin in the BMW, really, really good engine braking. So you haven't got to be on the brakes all the time, which are very good. The brakes on this are really, really good. Although you do get quite a lot of dip on the front. So when you put your front brake on, not that I need to now, but putting it on, you do dip quite a bit on the front, so it's quite soft. And I know that you can put it in different modes, so you can have it in dynamic and road, and you can see that it's in road here, and dynamic will stiffen things up quite a bit for you and give you a bit more of a spirited ride. This will give you a spirited ride, and the more and more I've ridden it, the more and more I've liked the fun element of the ride, but the less and less I've enjoyed it as a bike, if that makes sense. So all the bikes that I've had up till now, I have had GSAs, RTs, Tigers, many moons ago, that sort of thing. I've really enjoyed every one of those bikes. And when I've enjoyed those bikes, I've stopped the bike, and when I've got off the bike, I've always looked back to say, oh, look, I really like that bike. Now, this is a bike that I've looked back at and gone, I really don't know what I think that looks like.
Is it an XR? Is it an RR? Is it an RS? So for me, it fits right in between a real big gap of people that don't want a massive GS or a GSA. They don't want the RR, they don't want the R, they want something with a bit of fairing, a little bit of protection. And this fits that spot perfectly. But for me, it's not a bike that I would even choose to own, to be honest. And I'm not knocking it one bit. There are lots of people out there that would be very, very proud to have this. And if it was the only option I had, I'd be very, very proud to have it. And I'd put up with all the things that I don't necessarily like at the moment. You would just put up with it, wouldn't you?
Slow speed slow speed riding on this, very, very good. It's a very balanced bike, a very, very evenly balanced bike. I don't feel that I'm being pushed around the corner. I don't feel like there's any oversteer or understeer. I feel really in control. Counter steering is really easy on this. Getting around corners is really easy. The power is really good. It fills you with lots of confidence, and you've got the BMW build quality. I mean, let's face it, when you look around at other manufacturers are really good too. In some ways, BMW have let some of their standards down a little bit in terms of their build quality. However, you know that it's built really well. You know that it's going to go very well, and the dealership backup. And there will always be people that have had different experiences, but the backup from the dealership, and especially the warranty, whilst we've been away touring and things like that, I don't think we've found a warranty, recovery, insurance type company like that are anywhere near as good as something like BMW Assist when you're away, or when you're at home, to be honest. I mean, it is a very nimble bike, and it's a very fun bike. But I need a bike to do everything all at the same time, and I'm having to ride with my visor shut all the time, whereas on the other bikes that I've had, I've ride with the visor open, and the visor's getting filthy because of all the dirt. It's a first world problem, isn't it? And I'm sure I would get over it if this was my bike. And strangely enough, there is just no vibration whatsoever through the handlebars or the pegs or anything else, really. It's just a really smooth, nice bike to ride. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I really like it. Would I buy one? I perhaps wouldn't buy this bike. There are other bikes in the BMW range that excite me a little bit more. And I think sometimes when you go out and ride a bike, and this is why you need to ride a bike and you need to test ride a bike before you go and buy it, unless of course you're buying exactly the same as you had before, is I think as bikers, we're not just looking for a bike that just does it. We're looking for a bike that you open the garage and you smile because that's your bike. You get on it and you smile because that's your bike. And you've had a bad day or a bad week, or you're not feeling quite right and you need some time to yourself, and you get on the bike and you go off and you meet some mates and have a ride, and it gets rid of all of that. You have so much enjoyment and you enjoy your ride, and you get home and you think that's lovely. You wash your bike because you want to wash your bike. You're enjoying washing your bike. It's all clean now, and you shut the garage, and just before you do, you catch yourself looking at it, smirking, going, that's my bike, and thanks very much. You name your bike. No, I do. I name the bikes that I like because they mean something to me. Now, if you've got a cage like that Picanto, very nice car for some people, would you look in the garage and go, I really love that car? Some people would. But I think motorbikers are very different. There's a passion that drives us to not only ride, but there's a passion that drives us into what we ride and how we ride and why we ride it. And I think if you meet that passion, or if you see that passion, that's the bike for you. So if somebody's got an RS and I hated it and it was the worst bike in the world for me, who am I to say that it's a really bad bike? If that's the bike that you like and you've got the passion for it, then crack on. It is an exceptional bike, like most bikes are these days.
just doesn't tip over to being the exceptional enough for me to think, I'm going to go and have that. I would like to have one of those. There are other bikes in the range that I would like in the garage. So I've really enjoyed it. So thanks to Ocean BMW, where we are going, because I have something special to pick up. You'll find out in a later video what that special thing is that I'm going to pick up. You might be able to guess. So perhaps a bit of a competition. You won't win anything, but let's do it for giggles. What do you think I'm going to come out of Ocean BMW with? Is it a bike? Is it a bit of kit? Don't know. Put your comments down below and we'll have a bit of a laugh reading them, and you'll find out in the next video what it's going to be. But thank you, Ocean, for letting us take this RS out. It is an exceptional bike. It's a versatile bike for lots and lots of people. Not for me, but I have enjoyed having the opportunity to go out and ride it. I've quite enjoyed it, actually. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe and all that jazz. And if you fancy coming on tour with us, our tours are filling up fast. Next year's Spain and Portugal is nearly full. We've filled up the Hearts and Colditz Escape Adventure in April, and the September Spain and Portugal, which is just an amazing tour, amazing countries. Have a look, come along and tour with us. Anyway, enough of me rambling. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.